Sunrise Smart Start beginning with breaking news. A woman has died after a fatal hit and run on Clifford Avenue in Rochester.
Police responding to that area around 9:30 last night for the report of a pedestrian struck. When they arrived, they say officers found a 20-year-old woman with serious injuries. She was taken to the hospital where she was later pronounced dead. Police say the vehicle that hit her fled the scene. No suspects are in custody.
There's one of two possibilities. Number one, this is a tragic accident. The driver of that car got scared and took off. If that's the case, we strongly urge that person to contact us right away. Come on in, we'll talk about it. It's just a tragic accident at that point. If the person decides not to come in and talk to us, that leads us to believe that it was something other than a tragic accident.
If you have any information about this fatal hit and run, you're asked to please call 911. In other news this morning, the Department of Defense is moving to make COVID-19 vaccines mandatory for active duty military.
Joined by Washington correspondent Basil John, live in D.C. at this hour. Basil, good morning. What is the president saying about this move?
Well, Liz, Mark, good morning. And yes, we actually received a statement from the White House yesterday, basically stating that the president is supportive of this and is advocating for it, asking these active military members to go get vaccinated, not just to protect themselves, but to also protect their families and other Americans as well.
And of course, a lot of critiques out there. What are critics saying about this vaccine requirement?
Well, here on Capitol Hill, so far the biggest critic that we've seen is actually Wisconsin Republican Senator Ron Johnson. He said during a press conference yesterday that the White House and the federal government, especially the DOD, should not be putting down a mandate, especially because of one big point, and that's the fact that these COVID vaccines are still not authorized by the FDA. He said it'd be a completely different story if these were FDA-approved vaccines, like the vaccinations that are usually given to military members, but because of that case, he says that the president should not be advocating for this kind of a mandate.
All right, Basil, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin announcing that he would seek the president's approval for the mandate no later than mid-September or as soon as the FDA does fully approve a vaccine.
A lot of focus on the forecast around these parts over the next couple of days with good reason, James Gilbert. We are pumping up the temperatures again on this Tuesday.
Yeah, kind of that classic feel, hot and humid with the showers and storms in the afternoon, right?
Yeah.
Similar to yesterday, but we'll add those storms as well. Here's a couple of numbers. Locally, Greece 71, Brockport, you're at 72. Victor 74, Webster 73, Henrietta, I'm not forgetting about you. You're at 71 degrees. We'll get to around 90 this afternoon if we're heading over to the playground. Lunchtime, you're probably still good, but we'll watch those storms pop up as we get later in the day. Let's say between about 3 and 8 p.m., depending on your location. Those storms that move through. As of right now, we're thinking kind of garden variety, just a couple of passing showers and thunderstorms, but a small chance that some of those storms could be strong. Those are the ones that we'll be watching. We'll have the commute forecast and last look at the 8-day at the end of the show.
James, thank you. A reminder with our sunrise traffic, try to avoid Clifford Avenue in Rochester between Hudson and North Street. There was that earlier accident that we just reported. Main arteries, though, looking good this morning. 390, 490, and 590, all up to speed.
The State Assembly's Judiciary Committee discussing the impeachment probe against Governor Cuomo.
This is a separate investigation less than a week after the results of the State Attorney General's investigation. State lawmakers are not only looking into sexual harassment claims against Governor Cuomo, but also nursing home deaths during the pandemic and the governor's book deal as well. Some Assembly members say, given the potential outcome, the investigation must be thorough.
Future generations will look to us and how we conducted ourselves in this moment. In order to ensure due process, which is embedded in our system, we've asked for all evidence.
Potentially, we could remove the governor of the state. That's major.
Well, the Assembly is set to meet again about the investigation next Monday. State lawmakers say it could be several weeks before a final decision is made.
An investigation continues after a large house fire on Cottage Street in Rochester.
Firefighters called there around 5:30 yesterday. Officials say that house was not occupied at the time and no one was injured. Firefighters believe squatters may have been responsible for that fire.
Monroe County Sheriff's deputies are investigating after they say a person stole a vehicle and crashed it into the Erie Canal. Deputies say that person was seen smashing out the window and taking the car in Brockport. Police later discovered the vehicle along the Erie Canal off Gordon Road. Deputies say the suspect got out of the stolen car as it entered the water and was not injured. Officials say it appears that person may have been suffering a mental health crisis and was taken to the hospital. At the time of this incident, there were multiple accidents reported in that area. Police are looking into whether those are related to the stolen vehicle.
2 men are facing murder charges in the shooting death of 16-year-old Manuel Rivera. It happened this Saturday on Hague Street in Rochester. According to police, 31-year-old Douglas Smith and 21-year-old Johnny Rodriguez both are charged with murder and criminal possession of a weapon. Police say the two were arguing when they began shooting at each other. Rivera caught in the crossfire and killed.
Mr. Rivera unfortunately appears to be a completely innocent bystander, and you know, some of the nonsense that's going on in the city right now. It appears that 2 individuals got into an argument and decided to begin shooting at each other. I do expect another arrest in this matter.
Well, Smith was arraigned yesterday. Rodriguez is due to be arraigned later this morning.
A warning of extreme and unprecedented impacts. The ICC releasing a new report outlining the potential future problems our planet could face.
Carmela Boykin live in Rochester with what it could mean locally as well. Carmela, good morning.
Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Leah. The findings in the latest IPCC report states that the global temperature is warming and that human activity like burning fossil fuels is the main cause. I spoke with Executive Director of Climate Solutions, Abigail McHugh-Griffa, who says the local impact of climate change will be staggered.
Climate change will affect all 1.2 million residents of our 9-county region, but we're not all going to be impacted equally.
This means that vulnerable populations in the area will be at risk.
Some people are going to be more able to respond to the climate crisis than others. And so we often talk about climate change as being an injustice accelerator.
One of the big questions then is,
how do we make sure that everyone can participate in this transition to clean energy and that no one is left behind?
RIT Assistant Professor Dr. Tony Wong says Rochester won't see a massive effect yet.
You know, global impacts of climate change, Rochester maybe is in some ways getting off easy, that there are places where sea level hazards are, you know, starting to inundate their areas, and it's not just recreation that's being affected, it's people's homes.
But as weather events like flooding become more extreme, the city needs to adapt.
And so we'll need to think about what sorts of strategies Rochester could pursue to adapt what we have right now to make our infrastructure more resilient.
Frank Reagan has run RochesterEnvironment.com since 1998 and is focused on climate change for the past 5 years. He says,
the reality is our planet is warming up very quickly, and it's us. But we still have time to change some of the worst case scenarios.
And Dr. Wong says that on an individual basis, decisions like the types of cars we drive, the type of transportation we take, and how often we choose to drive can make a large impact going forward. Reporting in Rochester, Carmela Boykin, News 8. Mark and Leah.
All right, Carmela, thank you. The IPCC is currently in its 6th assessment cycle. It will release the final report of that cycle in 2022.
Now for the latest on COVID-19, with a month to go until students head back to the classroom, many questions remain about reopening plans. Just last week, New York State announcing it would not be providing schools with formal guidance, leaving the decision up to local districts. Now those districts and health departments are working together to figure out how schools should reopen. The superintendent of the Gananda Central School District says he wants parents to be prepared that guidelines may vary district to district.
I can guarantee you that we're working towards consistency. We're not going to have consistency across the board in district. Each district is going to have peculiarities based on their size, based on the size of classrooms, based on their population.
As for potential vaccine requirements for students and staff, he says those mandates would have to come from the state, not local school districts.
The University of Rochester is the latest college campus to announce indoor masking requirements for both students and staff, regardless of whether they are vaccinated. The mandate was created in light of the emergence of the Delta variant in the area. It applies to everyone on campus beginning today. Here's what some folks might be talking about at the water cooler this morning. You'll soon have another chance to win the Powerball. Lottery officials are adding a third weekly drawing beginning Monday, August 23rd. The lottery is currently held on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Gaming officials say there will be bigger cash prizes and jackpots with an extra drawing every week.
Yeah, so now it's going to happen. We're going to win.
That's it.
We have an office. We have an office pool, so I'm surprised we haven't won already.
It is
really
surprising,
shocked, right?
You know, like 2 or 3 times by now.
Yeah. Right.
You got to be in it to win it.
That's what they say, yes, right. Regardless of chances, even though they're small, they're not zero.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right.
That's what we say a lot of times in the weather department. Not small.
Okay.
Not zero, but small.
Pretty good chance we're going to get a storm later today, huh?
I think so. And if it's not in Rochester, it may be a little bit further south. We could see a couple of spots of, where they see some major downpours. So watch out for those as we get into the afternoon. Your drivecast here, we're starting off in the 70s. It is muggy. You feel it right when you walk out that door. You get hit with that humid air. It lasts likely through Wednesday, even into Thursday. There's those 90s, but we get a cool off by the weekend.
All right,
good there.
Looks good. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching News 8 at Sunrise.
Our next update coming up in 30 minutes. CBS This Morning is up next. Have a great day.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.